Yeah, hey, there it is. There it is. All right, check it out. We're supposed to start the show with a quote, and so I should probably do that. I'm going to do that right now. This is a quote that was submitted in the Morning 5 Planner. You're like, what the heck is the Morning 5 Planner? I have no idea who you are. Why should I even listen to you? Well, the Morning 5 Planner is this bad boy. It goes with me everywhere I go. And in this Morning 5 Planner, there's 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life that we keep track of. No snooze button, no phone first thing in the morning, writing down our gratitude and goals, taking care of the physical, sending out an encouraging message. And what's really powerful about this particular planner is that it's put together by this community. A community of people that are stretching to their full potential. A community of people that are getting up early, like me and my boy Scott Simons, who was there in episode 1 of Hashtag Rise and Grind 1,246 episodes ago. It's a community of people that are getting up early. We come together, equip each other with the tools we need to succeed, and inspire each other to be great, right? And so in this planner, there's actual quotes. These are the favorite quotes of actual members of this community on the top of every page. I think it's phenomenal. So today, I got up at whatever time it is. I'm an hour behind you guys, so it's 4:35 now. I guess I got up at 2:50 a.m. Yeah, so today I got up at 2:50, grabbed my Morning 5 Planner, and there was a quote by Jual. How would I say that? Jual. Have never seen that name before. Last name's Galvez. I'm going to go with Wall because it's kind of like Juan Galvez. That's my guess. And here's what the quote. All that to get to this quote. The quote is this. It says, "Don't live for your presence to be noticed, but for your absence to be felt." Do not live for your presence to be noticed, but for your absence to be felt. There will come a day where you, me, all of us, we gotta, there's a deadline. It's coming. There will come a time that you and I are going to move to whatever it is that is next for the energetic, spiritual existence of us. But we will shed these bodies at some point. That's a fact. It's going to happen. The question is, will your absence be felt? You know, I think about that every single day, the legacy that we leave, the impact that we make. And I truly do believe that we have a born-on date and an expiration date and this little dash in the middle. And that little dash is the positive impact that you have on other people, bringing your unique gifts to the table through the divine, the creator, right? And so when I read that this morning, I thought, don't live for your presence to be noticed, but for your absence to be felt. It's probably one of the most powerful messages that we could deliver to ourselves first thing this morning, and a powerful message to share with others. What a great way to start on Hashtag Rise and Grind.
Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 8, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume because it's time to rise and grind.
Hey, good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, these people here in the hotel are probably going to get a little bit mad at me. I'm actually here in the lobby That's right. I am here in the lobby at the Westin. I am at the Westin Hotel in St. Louis. Now, interesting fact. I didn't know this about St. Louis. Interesting fact. So St. Louis is halfway. What happened to my Facebook feed? St. Louis is halfway. There we go. That was weird. St. Louis is halfway. Half the city is in Illinois, and half the city is in Missouri. Did you know that? I didn't know that. So St. Louis, Missouri, this half. St. Louis, Illinois, this half. Like, as a matter of fact, we flew in yesterday. I brought my son with me. It was his first time flying on a private jet, right? So my son got his very first private jet experience, which I was super excited for him. I know he was super proud of it. So we actually landed in Illinois. That's where we landed. We landed in St. Louis, Illinois, and then we're 3 miles away from our hotel, which our hotel is in St. Louis, Missouri, right? Which is kind of crazy. And our hotel just happened to be right next to the stadium where the St. Louis Cardinals play baseball. Just happened to be right next to it, right? You got the big arch over there. You got the city. You got all that cool stuff. And so, of course, we get here to the hotel, and my son's kind of like, "Yo, bro, we're right next to the baseball field." And there just happens to be a baseball game going on, and I'm like, "All right, son, what are the odds? Let's go." All right. So we went ahead and got some baseball tickets and went to the St. Louis Cardinals baseball game last night. It was pretty cool. It was very incredible. I'm not really a big fan of baseball, but they now got this like clock that speeds things up quite a bit, which I appreciated. And apparently it was a big deal because the Cardinals actually won. They actually won last night, and apparently they don't do that very often in the baseball world, and so it was kind of exciting for that to happen. We saw them break a couple bats. There was a lot of foul balls that were getting hit off into the crowd and the audience, and it was energetic, and I just love being around people, right? I love being around people, so it was just amazing experience. I am here in St. Louis for the Drive Centric. Drive Centric is a CRM company that apparently has an amazing headquarters out here, and they do a deal where they bring a bunch of people from the automotive space in, and they have asked me to speak into those people. And what I love most is Steve Rossler. He's the guy who is kind of the face of Drive Centric, and I'm like, "Bro, you want me to speak on, growing on social? You want me to speak on leadership? You want me to speak on, what do you want me to speak on?" He's like, "Bro, I want you to tell people your story." He's like, "Dude, I want you to share with people who you are, how you got to where you are." He's like, "Bro, it's it." He's like, "I don't care about any of the other stuff. I just want you to share with people your story." It's crazy because as I think back through my story of homelessness, a story of being in and out of jail, a story of living in all these different cities and states, and stories of losing custody of my daughter, failed relationships, of career choices that didn't pan out. When I think about that story, man, at no point did I ever think, dude, the challenges that you're going through today will be the thing. Your challenges will become your checks. Never. I never thought when I was homeless, hey, one day, this time that I'm spending right here on the street, people will pay me to talk about in the future. I never thought when I was attempting to drown myself in the Pacific Ocean, I never thought, Glenn, God will take this moment right here and use it to inspire millions in the future. Never once did I think my challenges would become my checks. But now here I am, fast forward, doing some pretty cool stuff in some pretty cool places with some pretty cool people. And to top it all off, today is officially Taco Tuesday. And listen, it just doesn't get any better than that. It is Taco Tuesday. And the reason I'm down here in the lobby and being all loud down here instead of the room is, of course, I don't want to wake up my son because it's very early. So I appreciate you guys rolling with me. I know there's some little bit of background music, and I know there's people walking through the lobby and so on and so forth. So I totally appreciate you, and I appreciate that experience, right? So yes, we will be back in Kentucky later tonight for Taco Tuesday, so I'm super excited about that. Okay, but enough about me, enough about St. Louis, enough about all of that. You're not here for any of that. You're actually here for you, and we're diving into a new series this week that I think you're going to find really powerful. Because see, today I'm going to be helping out with my auto peeps and pouring into them, which I'm super excited about. And my hope is that God will take my story and some of the experiences and wisdom that I've gained through it and help the people that are here tap into their superpower and help them to break out of any limiting beliefs, thoughts, anything that's holding them back, right? Break out of those limitations. And so I've been correlating everything that I've been doing, everything I've been talking about, everything I've been doing, I've been correlating it all with this marathon that I've been training for. You see, 18 weeks ago, I started training for the Chicago Marathon. Now, I wasn't much of a runner at the time. I would run a few miles, a couple miles a day, a couple times a week, if that makes sense, right? So like 2 miles on Tuesday, maybe 2.5 miles on Thursday or Friday, a few times a week. I was doing some running. In between, I was doing some weight training, working out, so on and so forth. Always taking care of the physical, but not really a runner per se, but tapping into a little bit of running. And decided to start training for a marathon. And when I started training for the marathon, I looked at the marathon training schedule, right? And it's crazy. Marathon training schedule is crazy. It's like, okay, you're going to run 2 miles on Tuesday, 2 miles on Thursday, 1 mile on Friday, and then 7,000 miles on Sunday. Right? That's basically how it is. It's like you run, like right now, today I'm scheduled for 4, I think. So it'll be like run 4 today, run 2 to 3 tomorrow, run 4 on Thursday, and then Sunday will be 16. It's just kind of crazy how this marathon training thing works. But when I first looked at that training program, I never imagined I could be a guy, the type of person to run 15 miles. 18 miles, 20 miles, 26 miles, 8 miles, 6 miles, 4 miles. I didn't even think that was like a thing, right? Like it just looked crazy to me. But I made a commitment that said, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to challenge myself, even though I never really imagined that it was possible. And it's really opened my mind to a lot of things. And it's taken me down a lot of different paths, emotionally, as well as physically. But what's been awesome is my friend Heather Parody is also training for a marathon. And my friend Liza Borges is also training for a marathon, which is incredible, right? I get this support from all the way around. But Heather and I, we went on a run together in Indianapolis at VCon. And while we were there, we met a guy named Jim Quick. And Jim Quick is the author of a book called Limitless. And in this book, he discusses the limitless potential of the human brain and how to optimize it. And so, not fast forward, rewind, however you want to do that in time. What's crazy is in the Morning 5 planner that I referred to earlier, this month right here, July, this month we kicked it off with the book Limitless by Jim Quick. Now, at the time, I'd had conversations with him on Breakfast with Champions, but I'd never actually met the guy in person. Fast forward, now I've met the guy in person, got to spend more time with him, got to have dinner with him out in Indianapolis, which was cool, got to spend some time with him in VCon, which was cool, and I thought, and I've done some of his classes too, I've invested in some of his classes, so I thought, hey, this would be the perfect time to go into a series called Limitless right here in the middle of the summer, right here in the middle of marathon training, right here as you and I are in the middle of breaking free of any limiting beliefs that we might have, starting to understand that it's more important for our absence to be felt than our presence to be known. I thought we should go on that journey. So that's what we're going to do, if that's okay with you. Before we do, though, you know what we got to do on this show? It's a little soft. Let me see. Turn me up in the headphones. No, that don't turn it up. That turns up my mic. Don't want to do that. Well, I can't get any louder. Can't get any louder. But there's some music going on right there. Supposedly, there is. Okay, I promise. For those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. Okay? I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on. Sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. Why is that so soft, I wonder? Oh, well, duh. Look at this. You can slow me down. Oh. But you can't stop me. Right when I went to say that, it stopped the music. That was funny. All right. Good morning, Natasha Smith. I'm so glad you're here. Munson Lagarde, thanks for joining us here this morning. Christine Irvin, what's up, what's up? Danielle Baldwin, glad you're here. Tarika Simmons is in the building. Felicia Shakespeare is in the building as well. What's up, Valerie Oakley? How you doing, Russell Hill and Milt Whitesides? I'm glad you're here this morning. What's up, Monica, Dr. Jeannie, Pastor Jeff, and Mary Lynn? I see Dora Maria is in the building. What's up, Jackie? How you doing, Lolita? Miss Liza Myers of Borges. Was just talking about her. What's up, Danielle Baldwin? How you doing, Nathaniel Banks and Ricardo Govindansamy? I see Tony Tito Washington. That's Tony with the keys to you, folks. I see Tosh Queen is in the building. Tom Popelka, Sean Weatherby, Kimberly Hatfield's up in here. Stephen Kuhn, Kate Bowman, Justin Conoco. What's up, Ade? How are you? I see Scott Flansburgh. Guy changed my life is in the building. Renee and Yen and Maria and Fiona. Great to see you as well. That's probably why I turned it down. My computer keeps kicking it back. What's up, Triple J, the heavyweight champion of the world? What's up, Maria? How you doing? Melvin and Andy and Natasha and Bella and Maisha. Regina's in the building as well. That's right. Jacqueline Underwood. About 4 echoes. Yeah, I know. It's a little road thing, but it's okay. You can hear me. You can hear the music. That's what matters. The echo will clean up as soon as I get done interacting with you and music at the same time. Jacqueline says, I love the echo. You're so kind. All right, cool. Let's dive in, all right? Limitless. You are limitless.
When I went to college, guys were way smarter than me. 4.0s, 3.0s, they went to the Ivy League high schools, came to Oakwood from these great high schools. Most of them are not doing what I'm doing. Why? Because it's not about where you come from. It's about heart. You come to a place where, being smart ain't enough. You gotta have heart. That's why I wake up every morning at 2 o'clock, 2:30, because I got my mama counting on me. I got my sister counting on me. I got my son and my daughter counting on me. I got a world that gets up every morning and watches me. Stop being this high school dropout. Stop giving up. Stop sleeping on the street. Stop walking up and down Finkel Avenue like you ain't got nothing, and get your GED. Stop being afraid to take a test. Stop being afraid to go to college because your daddy didn't go and your mama didn't go. I don't do well in math. You're right. You ain't never studied. I'm not good in writing because you have never written before. You can't get through a writing class and you got tutor after tutor, resource after resource. The problem is you ain't never felt no pain before. You're soft. It's a soft generation. You quit on everything. You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you gotta be willing to give up sleep. So you say you want it as bad as you want to breathe. Then it's showtime. It's examination time. It's time to get tested, to test your will, your endurance. It's time to test your heart, to test your limits. But I'm exactly where I want to be because I realize I gotta commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it, I gotta eat it, I gotta sleep it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. But once you get there, I guarantee you, the world is yours. So work hard and you can have whatever it is you want.
There's no such thing as a good or bad memory. There is no such thing as a good or bad memory. There's just a trained memory and an untrained memory. Does that make sense? Now, here's the thing. I grew up with these learning challenges. I had all these difficulties all through school, all through elementary, middle school, junior high, high school. I had all of these challenges. At the age of 9, I remember a teacher looking at me thinking I wasn't either smart enough to understand what she was saying or wasn't paying attention. She was talking to another adult and she said, "That's the boy with the broken brain." And I was like, at 9 years old, right? And so those kind of identity issues, those beliefs, does that make a difference? Yes, right? And a lot of people believe that they can't do certain things. They could just never remember names. So I could teach them a strategy, but if the belief is not changed, what happens? It's not, because it becomes self-fulfilling. I remember running a marathon, and preparing for it, I read a chapter of one of the books, and it was on the psychology of running a marathon, right? The mental part. And it said this verbatim, word for word, because I'm a memory expert. It said, "Your brain is like a supercomputer, and your self-talk is a program it will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you programmed your supercomputer not to." A lot of people say, "Oh, I have a bad memory," right? They always say, "I have memory," or "I have focus," or "I don't have focus," or "I have creativity," "I don't have creativity." I want you to scrap that. Creativity is not something you have, it's something you do. Focus is not something you have, focus is something you do. Energy is not something you have or don't have, it's something you do. Memory is not something you have, it's something you do. And what's the benefit of turning it into a do, as opposed to something you have? What's the benefit? You have control over it, because you could put it into a process. It becomes a strategy, because there's a strategy for reading faster. There's a strategy for remembering names. There's a strategy for having focus. And it's a verb, not a noun.
It's a verb, not a noun. Like, so true, absolutely powerful, and that is my friend, Mr. Jim Quick. Now, Mr. Jim Quick has an incredible story. He has an incredible story of being labeled as the boy with the broken brain, and he went home, and basically he became fascinated. He had this fascination with superheroes and how they had all these super abilities, and so he wanted to have a super ability. He decided that the super ability that he would have this super brain, right? And he just began to tell himself a story that he was a kid with a super brain, not a broken brain, but a super brain. And by changing the narrative, he changed his actions, his verbs. His verbs started to lead him to where now, fast forward, he's a New York Times best-selling author. He's distributed, I don't know what's going on. He's distributed millions of books. He speaks all around the world, and all of his speaking is always incredible because he does these awesome like little memory drills and memory techniques. And so I became fascinated with Jim Quick a couple years ago. And I signed up for one of his classes, one of his memory classes, and I can tell you, I was that person that said, I'm really good with faces, not with names. Drop that in the comments if you've ever said that. Drop that in the comments right now if you're like, yeah, I'm good with faces. I remember faces, but I don't remember. I'm not good with names. Drop it in the comments if you've ever said that. I want to see it. Yep, Lolita Walker was like, yep, I be saying that. Jackie Brannigan's like, yep. Amy Lewis is like, yep, I be saying that. Dominica's like, yep, that was me. Pastor Jeff says, yep. Scott Veronica says, yep. Valerie Oakley says, guilty. Munson Lagarde says, yep, right? Jacqueline Underwood, Rodney Rock Hatfield, I've always said that. That is me, and I'm in sales, says Tim Duff. All the time, says Tommy. That's right. Don Sankey always says that, right? I'm not good with names. I remember faces, but I'm not good with names. I used to say that all the time. And Jim Quick points out in one of his first classes, he's like, have you ever heard someone say, I'm good with names and not with faces? Have you ever heard someone say that? With that, oh yeah, I remember everybody's name. I just can't remember their face. No, nobody ever says that. It's because we store things visually, right? We store things visually in our brains, and once we know and understand that we store things visually, well, then we can start to layer our memory in a certain way that we're able to recall it. It's super, super fun, right? Like right now, I want you to think of when this is how you very early started learning, right? So right now, when I say the letter A, what object do you envision? What object pops into your head when I say the letter A? Drop it in the comments. I can usually get comments faster on Clubhouse. Yep, apple, just like that, right? Apple. All right, a lot of people say apple. Okay, I see apple. Janelle says alligator. Okay, all right, Janelle. But apple. All I said is the letter A. You immediately thought apple. Why? That's because you were taught that way. You were taught with a picture of an apple, the letter A. A lot of us were, right? And so it's fascinating once we start to understand, okay, these limits that we've put, telling ourselves I'm not good with names, I'm only good with faces, so on and so forth. The reality is we just haven't trained the brain properly. So Jim teaches in his things how to remember people's names and how to visually do that. And I got to tell you, it was fascinating for me. The first time I walked in, I remember I had just got done with the training and I walked into Beaver Toyota in Cumming, Georgia for the first time. And he's got a huge staff of people, and I used these techniques that I had recently learned to be able to memorize everybody's name. And the way that he teaches you to do it is by visually creating a story that connects their name to something identifiable on them. Maybe they're wearing a purple sweater and their name is Ivy, right? And you've got their name is Ivy and they're wearing a purple sweater. So when you're looking at them and they introduce themselves, you get the name Ivy and the purple sweater pops out. You now create a picture in your brain of a purple ivy that's wrapped around this huge ivory tower, right? And it really stands out because it's purple, this purple ivy that's all, wrapping all the way around, and in contrast to this really white building, right? And so you really create this picture so that every time when you see the purple, you're like, oh, purple ivy, and it makes that connection. It's really amazing. And I was able to instantly memorize the names of a couple hundred people, to where throughout the day as I saw them, I was able to call them by name. Now, listen, you want to talk about game changer? You want to talk about being remembered? You want to talk about your absence being felt? To call people by their name 4 hours later after you met them one time that morning for 5 seconds. Call someone by their name a week after meeting them in a 2-minute conversation, and you see them in an airport, or you see them at a restaurant or at the grocery store. It's so incredibly powerful. But the point isn't that, I guess that's kind of the point, but the bigger point is we've told ourselves these lies. We've told ourselves lies about what's possible, for where the levels that we can reach, the things that we can do, what's possible in our lives. We've created these limitations. And the reality is, you, my friend, are a child of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And that God made you with 0 limitations. None. Zip. Nada. You are capable of achieving all that you can envision, dream, imagine. The experiences that you can taste in your life that have always been there, that maybe you've had the fear of stepping into, or you've told yourself, or somebody told you that you're the one with the broken brain, or whatever narrative it is. My hope is that this week we'll challenge that. We'll stretch that. We'll push you from being a 2-mile runner to a 15-mile runner, or a 15-mile runner to a 26-mile runner, or a 26-mile runner to, I'm not running any further than 26 miles, I'm just saying, from a 26-mile runner to a race car driver. How about that? We're going to do that this week. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to bring Jim Quick along with us for the ride. And it's all out of love. Because I love you, I want to challenge you. Because I love you, I'm going to push you. And if nobody's told you that yet today, I do want to be the first. I do absolutely stinking love you. So let's break free of these limiting beliefs, these chains that are holding you back, and unlock your full potential.
All right, this is what I do before I get ready to go to learn something or go on stage. Okay, so it's out of a science called educational kinesiology, and it goes like this. These are different sets of exercises. So one is taking your elbow and touching it to the opposite leg, kind of like this. They are called cross crawls, according to Brain Gym. Hey, Brain Gym, my name is Jim. So you're just doing this, and basically anything that anything below the neck is controlled by the opposite side of the brain. So you know that the left side of your brain controls the opposite side of the body, and vice versa, and so on. And so this helps to be able to connect more of your corpus callosum, left brain, right brain, more integrated, which is very cool. Check this one out. So a lot of us spend a lot of time on the computer, so it's kind of like you're shaking out your hands like this. All right, shaking out your hands, getting some fluidity in your wrists. And now watch this. Now one is going to go twice as fast as the other. So watch this. Just try this now. Like this. Very simple. Can they see that? Mm-hmm. Cool. And then I could also reverse it too, right? I can do it with the opposite hand. Right? Kind of fun exercises, kind of wake up, get you thinking a little bit. Another one is this. If you take your arms and you just kind of bring them towards you, like you're moving energy towards you, and kind of bring it towards you, pulling it in like this. And now do this. Do one towards you and one away from you, like that. So you're just making these circles. And you can do opposite also. And breathe also. Some people hold their breath for some reason when they do this. So it's like this, ba, ba, ba.
And if that's too difficult, you could just pat your head and rub your stomach. They say juggling is really good for your brain also. There's a study done in Oxford. Jugglers have really good brains, which is really also good for speed reading, because in order to look at these three balls, I only have two eyes. I have to kind of soften my foveal vision, expand my peripheral vision, relax a little more so I could take in more words, and which is obviously really great for reading also as well. But juggling actually builds more brain power. It actually creates more white matter. All right, so juggling, you have two in one hand, one in the other. And so juggling is really simple. It's something that you could do really easily. You start with one. And if you're going to learn how to juggle, I'm not a professional juggler, but I self-taught because I used to teach tennis a lot. And when you're waiting for a court to open up, you only have like 3 balls to kind of keep you occupied. So you take this, let's pretend this is a ball or rolled up sock. Socks work really well because they don't roll around, like balls could go everywhere. It's also nice if you're a first time juggler to do this over like a table or a couch somewhere, so you don't have to always just kind of bend down and catch it. So you're taking this and you are, is it good? So you're taking this and you're throwing it up and you're just catching it like this. So just throw it up and catch it. And you really want to get this to about the tip of your head, like that, right? And you're just looking forward, you're doing that. And that's the toss, right? And so the second one, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. What I visualize is I visualize 2 peaks. So 2 peaks, because you can't toss it on the same peak because they'll just collide with each other, right? So you have one here and then one here. And the trick is when this reaches its peak, that's your signal for tossing the other one. So you're going 1, 2, and then catching, right? So 2 different peaks, catch, and then you stop. Like that. And then so the third one gets really interesting because then you don't stop. You just go peak, peak. Every time you reach one to the top, I imagine there's like a box like here, and I'm just hitting this corner and this corner, this corner and this corner. So it looks like, theoretically, this is how it works. Looks like this. And notice like I'm looking directly at you because I'm not focusing on any one of these because then my attention will be everywhere, but I'm just like this, and I'm breathing. And juggling builds good brains. So you should, I've never actually done, yeah, so it's pretty easy. So 2 in one hand and you just throw. And this is a good metaphor also for life, because how many of us feel like we're like juggling in life, that we have lots of different things up in the air, that we have flaming swords and such, because we wear many different caps. So that's multitasking.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Hashtag rise and grind.